Ciao. Where to begin? Where to begin? Where to begin? Okay. So, today's just gonna be, I guess, like a little Bravo recap slash ramble from what I've watched this week. So let's just jump right in with Scandoval. So, I watched the season finale of Vanderpump Rules. So, a little bit of backstory. I'm one of those. So I did not. I was like against Vanderpump Rules. I was like, I'm not going to watch this show. I don't care. It took me a lot to even get into all the Housewives. Like at first, I only watched Atlanta because it was Atlanta. You know, it's like, okay, I'll watch Potomac because everyone's talking about Potomac, and you know, it looks good and they're funny. And then, long story short, I just kind of like got dragged into the other ones. Same thing happened here. One of my best friends, she watched, like after everything like went down, she started watching it. And she was like, you need to watch it. I was like, no. She's like, you need to watch it. I was like, no. She's like, you need to watch it. I said, okay, girl, damn, I'll watch it. Next thing I knew, I started watching it in like, maybe like, like March. Like it wasn't that long ago. It was like March, maybe February. It can't be February. A couple weeks after all the stuff broke out is when I started watching it, and now I'm caught up. So anyway, so I watched it just to get to this point, really. And let me tell you, bitch, it was worth it. My God. So, the episode. It was, you could like tell that last week's episode was like initially the actual finale, because it gave very much finale. It's like the last event, you know. Lisa did her big cheers that she's always doing. It's, you know, like to me the finales are always like rap parties. Like they just have a big party where they go up and fight and try to resolve the issues of the season. So they're like rap parties. And so the last week's episode was a rap party, and then this week's episode was, you know, after everything went down, obviously production picked up their cameras and got back to work, girl. So where do I begin? I'll begin with like the actual like disgust that like this episode brought me. Like that's the best word I could use for it, was just like disgust. Like everything about it was just so disgusting. Like my skin literally was crawling. For a lot of reasons, but it's like one, like I cannot imagine being Ariana in that situation. I can't imagine being any of them. Like you know, being friends with Sandoval, or being friends with Raquel, or being friends with any of them, or being in a relationship with any of them. Like everybody's perspective is obviously, you know, Ariana's like the main, I hate to use this word, but like the main victim here. But they are all affected by this, and I don't want to like minimize that because it's fucked up for everybody. Can I curse on YouTube? I don't know. But it's effed up for everybody. So it was just like really, 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 really just like gross to like think that people could like do that. And like, yeah, people could do that, but like the thing that like people could like really do that and then like do it knowing they're on national TV, you know? And it's like, God, it's so gross. Oh, it's so gross. So, you know, and then freaking Tom, God, Sandoval, he's like, you know, it's like, you know, she didn't want to know, you know, all she had to do was follow me around. Like, so basically all she had to do was catch you cheating to find out that you were cheating is what you're saying. That's crazy. Like, how about just not cheat? Sorry that she, you know, thought it was an okay idea to trust you when you said, you know, hey, I'm going to my friend's house. My goodness. Like he just like would not to count. He's like, yeah, it was bad, but yeah, what I did was bad, but yeah, but I tried breaking up with you 2 weeks ago. It's like so many things there. 2 weeks ago, when this started months ago, that's one. Two, trying to break up with somebody and breaking up with somebody are two different things. If you're like, yeah, let's break up, and they're like, no, we're not breaking up, and you're like, okay, and then you stay there, you didn't break up. You had a conversation about breaking up. That's not an excuse. Okay, if you were like, hey, let's break up, and she was like, no, and you're like, okay, well, listen, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to move on. I'm going to start seeing other people. It's time for me to move out. Now it's breaking up. Okay, not bringing up the idea, and she was like, no. And then you're like, okay. So like he just kept trying to like make excuses. Like, yeah, we weren't being intimate. Her thing the whole season was like, we're not being intimate because we don't spend time together. And so like, if you're not gonna make changes and spend time with her, she's not gonna want to be intimate. And like, so you can't use that as an excuse because there was like a problem and there was a solution, and then you didn't like want to do that solution. So it was just like, I wish he wouldn't like try to like make excuses like, yeah, but we weren't doing this, we weren't doing that, we weren't. It's like, just say, you know what, I'm trash, and leave it. No buts, no but. Well, I did it because, like, no, it was crazy. And then I don't even want to talk about Raquel because I'm just so like, there are so. Like, the thing with the both of them is, like, there are just millions of people in, like, California alone, Los Angeles alone. Like, West Hollywood, there's thousands of people. Even if you're up in Valley Village, you can find somebody. Frankly, especially if you're in a national TV show, like, you can find anybody in the world. Why be so disgusting to, like, go behind somebody's back? Oh my God, I just can't. Like, imagine having somebody in your house and you're like talking to them and you're like, the three of you are like hanging out together, and this whole time, and it's like, she already had like trust issues before. I don't even want to call them trust issues because that's not like an fair assessment. And it's so like, and then considering the year she had like between Charlotte passing and her grandma passing, like, you're doing all this dirty, shady shit while all this is going on in her life is wild to me. Like, and she sat there and she's like, I want you to hear this from me. When she was like, like, you are nothing and all those things. And it's like, I felt like the human in me. It's like, oh my, like, that's mean to say. But it's like also true. Like, I believe like everybody deserves redemption and everybody, yada, yada, yada. But like, I also feel like she was being honest and she was telling the truth. Like, he doesn't have to be the way that he is right now forever, but I think what he has done has warranted the things that she has said. And I'm glad that people are not like trying to like go easy on him. Though Lisa did a little bit, but that's Lisa, that's what she does. And this brings me to my next person, which is Tom Schwartz. Trash. And it makes me upset because I feel like he does give away with a lot, because like, oh, no, don't do that. Oh, man, oh, Bubba, like, he does his whole shtick, and everybody, every season people see through it more and more. And like, to me, it's not like charming, it's annoying and frustrating, because like, just like trying to sweep things under the rug or trying to like take the, oh yeah, I'm sorry, doesn't make it okay. Like him trying to act like, I'm not gonna keep my boy while he's down. Your boy's down because your boy did some effed up stuff, okay? And you did some effed up stuff. Now, it is not Tom's like Schwartz's business to like tell Ariana, but it's also not Schwartz's business. I mean, but it also like is his business to tell. Like, I get not wanting to tell her, but you can't like have it both. You can't not tell her and then act like you didn't do anything wrong, because you did. Like, you didn't have to tell her, but you should have, and you did it, and that was wrong. Especially like, this is a girl like you having your wedding and all that. She's like, one of your groomsmen, and you're not gonna tell her this is going on behind her back, and you're gonna lie about it, act like you knew less than you did. It's just all really grimy to me, and I like tried to like put myself in the situation. I was like, what would I do like if like my best friend was like cheating on their, like my best friends that are male are almost all married. So like if they were in Ariana and Tom were essentially married anyway. So I'm like, if my best friend was like sleeping with another one of our friends behind their eyes back, maybe a 5-day window to say something. Maybe maybe a weekend. Okay. After that, I'm saying something. I'm not gonna sit and be like, oh, this is a bad idea. You shouldn't be doing this. No, I'm sorry, but like there are consequences to actions, and if you are a bystander, you're complicit. Like obviously, he's not as bad as Raquel and Sandoval, but like I am glad that he's getting the heat and the pressure that he deserves by being complicit in it. And if he would just sit there, like, you know what, I effed up. I should have said something. Tom, you effed up. This situation, I didn't know how to handle it. Yada yada. That's one thing, but he's doing the whole. Oh man, you really messed up, dude. We're getting all sorts of yup reviews, bro. I hate it. I hate it. So that is just all frustrating. And I kind of just like hope they like. I hope everybody gets held to the fire. And my biggest issue with all of this is I like Katie Maloney is one of the worst people I have ever experienced in television. I think she's a horrible person. I think she's mean. I think she's entitled. I think she's a hypocrite. And her bob is hideous, okay? And she can't dress. Nothing about her is likable. No redeeming qualities. And I hate to speak that way about someone, especially a woman, but she's garbage. The worst part about this all is that on this episode, like, one, I had to agree with Katie, and two, I had to like not dislike Katie for a whole entire episode because I compared to Tom and Tom and Raquel, you know, Katie seemed like just a regular old person, you know, which was hard for me to reconcile with. I'm sure when the reunion comes up, you know, I'll be back on my bullshit, but until then, like, she made points. I'm positive Sheena slapped the hell out of Raquel. Raquel has some nerves filing a restraining order. And then Raquel be like, yeah, that's my karma. Karma's just getting started for you, girly. It was just all a mess. And it was like disheartening. Like usually, you know, a TV show's like, ooh, this is drama. This is juicy. You know, you're like, ooh, you know, you're like rubbing together your hands and like, you know, licking your lips because it's so good and juicy. But this was like sad. Like after I watched it, I was like genuinely sad. I was sad for Ariana, obviously for so many reasons. And it really just makes you second guess like everything. I was sad for Sheena because like her best friend is hurting. She lost like two of her good friends. And now she's facing, you know, legal stuff. I was sad for, this is going to sound terrible, I was sad for Tom Sandoval because I really do think he effed up more than he realized. But also I don't know because this is kind of like he is trash and he has shown himself to be trash. I do think he was going through like the situation where like he's 40 and he was feeling himself and he's like, yeah, I'm the new hot man in town, and well, if Ariana's not going to give it to me, then I'm going to go get it from somewhere else. But I think that he like got ahead of himself and he didn't expect the fallback to be as bad as it is. And I feel bad for like the emotions that he has to be feeling. I don't feel bad for him, but I feel like I put myself in. It's really hard to explain. Like I don't feel bad for him, but I imagine myself feeling the emotions he has to feel, and that I feel bad for. Like if that were me, I would feel horrible. But he deserves to feel horrible. I feel bad for, you know, James Kennedy, because he's obviously not over Raquel. And Tom was like, he considered Tom a friend. But also, you know, James hasn't been like a great friend to Tom, so it's kind of like, but then it's also weird because like Tom like helped him plan this fucking engagement. It's also weird. I feel bad for, that's it. I want to feel bad for Schwartz, but I really don't. I don't feel bad for Lala because she's mean too. I feel bad for Kristen just because she's Kristen and she can't like move on. So it's all just a disgusting mess. it is so gross. And I don't know how they move on from this, but crazy television, to tell you that. This is historic. Speaking of historic television, we're going to slide right on over to, actually, before we get to Jersey, we'll talk about Atlanta. This episode of Atlanta was pretty good. Kenya's talking to, I don't like Kenya at all. Kenya's like the Katie of Atlanta to me. She's just like unrealistic, unreasonable, and delusional. And she's like really, 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 and I hate to use this word, but she's really, really, really bitter and entitled. And so like she'll like put her hand in your face. She'll call you all this, that, and the third. You're despicable. You're that. You're this. And then anytime you do anything else, you can't speak to me like that. I'm a woman. You're a man. You don't speak to a woman like that. It's always this double standard. And I agree that like a man should never get aggressive with a woman, but I don't agree that you can like pop off on anybody you want to, and then when they pop up back, you're like, oh my god, you cannot talk to me like that way. I'm a lady. You are a man. It's like, well, like, is it what you all here? Or is it one mic? Which one are we doing, girl? So they did the same thing with Martell. The problem is I don't care about Martell nor Sheree. So it's like, but what is it called when you are not biased, but you are. Either way, the just like the reason, rationality in me is like, girl, save it. So that was annoying. Sonya, go ahead and get all your family out your house. I know it's hard, but you're a grown woman with a whole husband and children, and you want to have a new baby. Get everybody out your house. If you love them so much, you can try to get them a house in the neighborhood, but they gotta go. Drew, I'm just waiting for the episode when you file the divorce papers, because you've been in this marriage much too long, and I'm excited to hear about your singing career. Candy, I love that we're acting like somebody wasn't just out at your restaurant, but I like that. I get she didn't address it during the filming, but she addressed it in the confessional, so that was like, okay, we're not going to avoid it. Maybe she was right about the legal stuff of it all. This new girl that keeps popping off on Candy, it's weird. She just, wants some television time. And that's the gist of this episode of Atlanta for me. Next, I'm going to move right on over to Jersey. Now, Jersey has been given the same Gorga Judice storyline for God knows, like pretty much almost the entirety of the series, ever since they came on the show, really. As in they had me, Melissa and Joe. My problem is I'm always gonna be Team Melissa and Team Joe, because Teresa is also delusional and a hypocrite, and it's like scary because it would make me feel like, oh my god, like, am I crazy? Like, because she is so delusional, it makes me think like there's something that I'm missing. And then you get all the facts, you're like, no, there's something that she's missing. Like, it's crazy to me, but like, if you know me, I'm all about family first. I love my family. But all the family you do have, you pry yourself away from them for your own sake, because if they don't lift her up and treat her like a goddess, then they are against her in her eyes. And it's sad because I see the same things happening. Like, I see those views trickling down to her children, and I hope that it doesn't stay that way for the children. But yeah. And then Teresa, like, part of me was like with the whole, like, Teresa called over Joe to, like, tell him that, Melissa was caught cheating and all that. Like, the first part of me was like, well, yeah, that's her brother. Of course she's going to call him over and talk to him about it. And then if Teresa's like, this whole thing was like, oh, I never thought it was true. If you didn't think it was true, then you would have called the both of them over. And that's what I'm with Melissa on. Like, if you thought that this was some BS and you just want him to get in front of it, you would have called us both over and be like, hey, there's a rumor going around that you're doing this, that, and third in the back of a truck. Here's some information for you guys. Get ahead of it. But that's not what happened. You called them over you tried to turn him against her, as you've been doing for the past forever. And I just don't understand it, because I don't know what Melissa has done besides raise those children and like help out whenever she can. Like, it's one thing to like not really like, you know, care for like your sister-in-law, but Teresa hates her. And she, you know, every other season she'll pretend she doesn't hate her, but she hates her. And it's weird and it's sad. And I think that they just need to like, I think it is time for them just to let it go. I think Teresa is not going to change her ways, and I think it's causing Melissa and Joe more turmoil than it's worth. Like, yeah, you have your sister in your life, but if you're at odds and fighting more than you're at peace, it's time to just let it go. It's hard to do, but it's you gotta just let it go, because it's not worth it. She's not going to change. And you know, it's one thing to like know somebody's not going to change. It's just accept them for who they are. But if you know they're not going to change and then still get mad when they don't change, you're not going to win. So let it go. And Louis is clearly bad news. He's very like, you can tell he puts on a facade. He's very like fake. He looks like, I'm not gonna make any, you know what, I don't want to get sued. So I'm not gonna make any like, you know, bold statements, but something just seems, he seems enhanced a lot of the times, is what I'll say. Just like jittery and like talks fast, and like his eyes are always like extremely wide, and he's just kind of like seems in a whole different universe. And I love that. There was that one scene where they were in the car, and he was like, you know, obviously we're not fighting Joe and Melissa. And then Teresa was like, oh, we're on camera, we're filming, you know, we have to invite everybody. And it's like, okay, you got caught this one moment. And it just goes to show, like, they put on the front, in front of the cameras all the time. And so I know what's going on behind closed doors is much worse. And then whenever she gets held accountable, she's like, see, I know it's going to happen. They're going to always put it back on me. Oh, it's always my fault. Girl, because it is your fault, because you're fucking up. So I hope that they just like both agree to just like go their separate ways and let it be. Like, it's over. You tried it. It's done. Just go and you know, start new families. Be the new heads of the trees. It's sad. It's like devastatingly sad. But sometimes life is sad. And so I think they just have to pretend that each other is dead. You know, like Teresa has to pretend like Joe Gorga no longer exists. Joe Gorga has to pretend that Teresa Gorga Judice, whatever her new last name is, no longer exists. And unfortunately, I think that includes the kids as well, because I think that is now at an irreparable place. And I know personally, if I were either of them, I would not feel comfortable. Especially if I was like Joe and Melissa's kid. No, either of them. If I were either of them, I wouldn't want to hang out with the other side. Like, yeah, we're cousins and we love each other, but like, I know how your like mom or parents feel about me, and I know how you feel about my parents, and I know how you feel about my parents. So it's kind of like, we don't really need to kick it. You know, Melissa has sisters, and what's Teresa's new husband's name? He has sisters. So, you know, just start your new families. Teresa's got, you know, her 4 daughters, and Melissa's got, well, they got 2 sons and a daughter. So it's like, you have enough children to just start a whole new family. Okay, be the new heads. And also, I'm sure Joe and Melissa can still talk to Catherine? Is it Catherine? Whatever their cousin's name were that were on the show, Rosie and the other one. You know, they can still hang out with them, and they can be one big happy family. And Melissa can have Jennifer Aiden. So let's move on to Jennifer Aiden. It drives me crazy that she keeps trying to blame Margaret for like ruining her family and like ruining my children. My daughter wants to be a relationship therapist because of you. And I think, you know, once she finally divorces, what's her husband's name? when she finally divorces the the cheating doctor man, I think she'll like come around and like realize she's projecting. But like, your daughter wants to be a relationship therapist because her father's a cheater and her parents don't get along. Like, you know, just because Margaret exposed the truth doesn't change the fact of what the children see at home. Doesn't change like whether she said it or not. She still can tell your relationship is fucked up. And if your husband had never cheated in the first place, what is Margaret gonna say? So it's like you gotta stop putting that on Margaret. Yeah, what she did was none of her business and it was messed up, but it's not the reason that your family is messed up at all. To add to that though, Margaret is low down and nasty, and I don't like Margaret at all. To me, she's like someone with no redeeming qualities. All she does is go around like bringing people down, calling them names, exposing their dirty laundry, and taking people's husbands and cheating on her own husband. So it's like and getting plastic surgery. Like to me, she looks ridiculous. She sounds ridiculous. She kind of just is ridiculous. And I don't like her. But I also don't like Jennifer. And it's like, Jennifer, you can't just put everything. You can't put Bill's her husband's name. You can't put all the Bill's dirty laundry on everybody else. It's not Margaret's fault that Bill was out cheating and scheming. Okay? It's not Margaret's fault that your daughter wants to be a relationship therapist. It's your husband. He's not a good husband or a good father. You told us that. We all know that. He comes home. He doesn't want to hang out with you. He doesn't want to hang out with the kids. He wants to go to the pool house. Okay? That's why your daughter wants to be a relationship therapist. Not because of Margaret Joseph. Okay? And then, speaking of pool houses and cheating, what was I going to say? It was right there. So, Jennifer and Bill, I'm glad you guys are in the wedding because, you know, they're kind of terrible, just like Teresa and her new husband, whose name I can't remember for some reason. And I wish them all the worst. Because Jennifer is also pretty terrible. She's just mean, and she says terrible things too. And she's delusional. Oh yeah, she was like, that woman was throwing herself at my husband. That woman was throwing herself at my husband. That woman was throwing herself at my husband. I was like, we just have to. Part of me is like, okay. Like, if you really forgive your husband, you do have to, like, forgive and, like, move on and let it go. So, if you want to, like, say, yeah, I forgive my man, that's my man, I'm going to ride for my man, you know, F that hoe, F Margaret, I kind of get it. But also, like, did she have to throw herself at your husband? Or was her husband just, you know, willing? You know, like, I don't think it's, you know, I don't think that lady was throwing herself at your husband. I mean, it's Bill, no shade. Dolores, I'm glad she's finally breaking up with Frank. I wish her and her Irish man the best. I do want him to have an identity besides being Irish. And that's not on him, that's on her. Like, we had to go to Ireland, then we had to have the Irish party. It's just too much. Like, I'm glad we're, you know, accepting his Irish heritage and all that. That's wonderful. But, like, what else is there about him? You know? What I do know is that he's got her in a Rolls Royce, so I'm not mad. And I love Dolores. I'm glad she left that other doctor. And I'm glad that she's moved on and she's got a new house with a new man, and they've got boundaries, and I like that. When it comes to the new girls, I like the one with the dark hair and the nose that adopted the son. I like her. I think she's, you know, she's cool. She's just, you know, minding her business, doing her thing, being honest. The other new one, the blonde, I think she's from Long Island, or at least she sounds like she is. She's fun, but she's also like too involved in other people's business, and also kind of a hypocrite. Like, I don't mind you being involved in other people's business and telling people's business, but then don't go around for calling people rats for doing the same thing. And then she's like so worked up about this whole Melissa Margaret thing. It's like, listen, you told Melissa, it's done. There you go. Again, that was their rap party, so she told her at the rap party. And I don't know what you thought was going to happen. She knew it was going to be drama. Like, you have to, like, you're not going to tell somebody, like, oh, I just wanted you to know this. What you do with this information is on you. If you don't want drama, you're not going to do it in that setting. You're not going to tell her at a damn party with all her castmates there. Okay? You obviously wanted it for the drama. You're on a TV show. I get it. But don't try to act like, I just want to be a good friend. I just want to help her out. I just want to let her know. Because, you wouldn't have done it in that manner. And then you're going to sit here and act all upset. And everybody, I do believe that Margaret is low down and dirty. I believe it. Because that's just who she is. Like, I don't think she's a good friend. I don't think she's a good person. I just don't. Like, the thing, like, when she gets mad and lashes out and says, that's why your brother, you can't talk to your brother, and that's why, blah, blah, blah. That's why, tell your husband to stop sleeping with subordinates, all that. Like, I think that's who she really is. And I think that's when she gets caught. And so I feel like that's how she talks to, like, her friends when she's not on camera. And so I'm positive she's on the phone talking to these people, like, talking all types of shit about people. And then she's on camera to act like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And I know it's frustrating. Like, I'm sure the new blonde lady, wish I knew her name, I'm sure she sees that and she's trying to expose it because it's frustrating. But you also have to know, like, all it's going to do, well, she doesn't have to know because it's her first season, but she's going to do all this. Margaret's going to keep doing what she does. And now your blood pressure's raised and people are mad at you when you could have just minded your business, But all in all, I'm excited to see the reunion. I hope that the Teresa gets married thing is just one episode. I don't need 3 or however many. I hardly want 1 because I don't care about this new husband or Teresa at this point. But I'm going to watch it. I hope the family's able to have a clean break and go on about their separate ways. And on that note, I'm about to make a clean break and go on about my day in my way. Okay? To wrap it all up, Tom Sandoval, Raquel, hell, prison. Teresa, you've already been to prison, but I hope you can redeem yourself and not go to hell. Atlanta, I'm excited to see how this season plays out because they have fun and production is fun and messy, and I love that. The production team on this one and Potomac, to me, is hilarious. And also, I think Salt Lake City and Beverly Hills are kind of going that way as well. Like when they say something, then they'll like show a clip, and it was like 2 minutes earlier. Like, it's just funny to me. They're so messy. But yeah, this was a nice little ramble about nothing and everything at the same time. And yeah, let me know what you think about any of these situations, girl. What's going on over at Bravo? And so I know I'm going to end up watching Summer House because I never wanted to watch Vanderpump Rules or many of these Housewives series. And the fact that Summer House has been on for 7 seasons, I just know that I'm going to end up watching it. So me and my friend just decided to take the L. And this summer, we're just going to start watching, all the season houses. Summer, fall, winter, equinox, whatever they got. I'm watching them because, might as well join the club. Next thing you know, I'm watching Below Deck. Who knows? But yeah, until next